Hello again. This is the Waterman, spiritual toolbox number 80, the love chapter number 56, audio recording number 359, examination table number 60. And I'll be continuing in kind of a reference type spiritual toolbox thing pertaining to this love of God from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, okay? Yeah. And I'll be in James chapter 5, verse 16, where the prayers of a righteous man availeth much, okay? Start out by reading it. Covered part of it last time, but I'll cover more this time. It's not exhaustive, but I'm just giving you, looking a little deeper in it. Okay. James chapter 5, verse 16 says, "Confess your faults one to another and pray for one another, that they may be healed. The effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much." Okay. I was covering down, I covered pretty much confess your faults one to another and pray for one another, okay? I mean, there's a little bit I didn't cover in there, but that's mainly, I mean, I can dig deeper, I can go much deeper if you want me to, but we'll just head on to the next part of it. You see this, where was it? I gotta find it. Okay. Now, we're on the part, that ye may be healed. Okay? We're down to confess your faults one to another and pray for one another that you may be healed. Ye may be healed. Okay? Alright. The word translated as ye may be healed is from the Koine Greek word 2390. It's IAOMAI. It's this word.
Strong's G 2390. Yamai.
Yamai. Okay. I think it's close enough. Okay. And that word, double checking my stuff here. Probably quadruple, 5 times, whatever. It's a verb. It's root etymology. The root word from this kind of middle voice of apparently a primary verb. Okay, so it's the middle voice of it. Now, what's the middle voice exactly, or more specifically? Okay, instead of leaving that kind of mysterious or any doubt, let's look at it a little bit closer. Okay. It says the middle voice indicates an intensification in some manner between the subject and the action, expressed by the verb. The subject is in the same manner interested in the action of the verb. So whenever you're praying, you're requesting, making wishes for someone or something or something, you're petitioning God and you're interested in it. You're not just mumbling words and don't really care. Okay? You're interested in it. See, at the same time, it's a request to God. So you got to know that if you're off, it's a good thing or it's an evil thing, and it's not what God's got designed, because we can't see, hear, taste, touch, and smell as much in the higher realm like of God. We can't see. We don't have the ability to comprehend, to know what God's doing completely. Okay? We know that He loves us beyond words, and that's the purpose. Remember in Romans 8, chapter 8, verse 28? And God causes all things to work together for good to them that love God, to those that are called according to His purpose. Right? And it goes on and on. Okay, so do we believe that or not? Yes, most definitely. Well then, if God's doing it for our cause, and He's got the ability to expand down as far as we can see, and expand that thing like a hair, down to the 1/10 of a meter, if we could, in our thinking process, far down as we can think, or we're able to, and He's able to expand it up to the size, like take a magnifying glass to that, up to the size of the whole observable universe and beyond, and then know that seed, that plank length size seed, that is Him, that little bit of Him that He put inside of each thought process, knows it intimately, very well, communicates with it. Well, the Spirit communicates with words that we can't even utter, right? Another part of it, I think it's a little bit before that, like 24, it's Romans 8, 23, 24, somewhere in that range, 25, 26, something right in there. The Spirit utters when we don't even know. It's a seed. And God are communicating. The deep calls it to the deep. Okay, and the deep in you and the deep in me, that's what communicating. This poop thinking is just, that's just there to be burned up, transformed back into the right mindedness of God, back in and this way, and relying upon God in Him, relying in God's mighty power, in His Spirit, and in union with that Spirit, that God loves us beyond words. Just because we don't understand how these calamities and tribulations and all this stuff is bringing about a good thing. How could this possibly cause something good? Look at me. Look at me. I'm turmoil. I just woke up from a coma. Blah, 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 gobble, gobble, gobble. I've been through it much myself. But yet, God showed me all this was very good. Doesn't mean it was easy. But He made it possible through His grace, through God's influence, come back. And I wasn't always in my thinking processes. He gave me what I needed. Each and every time. Yeah, it's a big learning experience. It is still going on. Okay? So now, this just takes that hope and bringing it into a confident in God. And each and every thought process, He's bringing it through the eye of the needle. But you got to agree with God. Not with that old stinking thinking, oh, this is hell. This is terrible. Oh, this is bad. You guys better pray for me because I'm going through some bad stuff. Or I'm really good, really bad. It don't matter. That's the true knowledge of good and evil. Vomit that crap out of your mouth. Okay? Don't allow your own carnal mind to beat you up. Believe me, it will. It'll beat you down like a dog. Because it is the alpha dog. And it'll put you in place, man. It tries to be your God. It tries to pretend that you're buddy too. It's that me, myself, and I trying to control you, dominate you, to bully a tyrant. Just like it's at those nations, imaginations, okay, in the mind. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1. 7 of them, okay? And then, it's either 1st or 2nd Chronicles, chapter 11, verse 4. It's, I go there, but I'm in this place locked there, okay? It's telling the first one, to those that, kill or to smite, that one from Jebus, that Jebusite, that man-made religious, do this, do that, you better do this or I'm going to condemn you, you're going to go to hell and all this stuff. First one to kill that'll be chief and captain. Smack that daggone dog down. Put the daggone sucker in his mouth. Give it right back to it. Be still, you dog. Just lay down there. Now, winds and waves went whew, quiet. You don't have to respond to that. Take responsibility to yourself, for yourself. Just because you're hurting or something doesn't give you any right to lash out, to be angry, to be bitter and hateful, because you're down in this vinegar solution. And man, it's bad on me. It's real bad. You better pray for me, brother. It's all right to request. I don't understand, Daddy. Help me. What's going on? Why are you doing this? Didn't Jesus even say, Father, why have you forsaken me? But the mindset was he agreed. Nevertheless, not my will be done, but your will be done. Help me understand this. Increase my strength in you. Ian and S.Y. in union with you. Correct my mind. That's what it's about. See, that prayers of a righteous man, which I'll get to here in a little bit, is more concerned correcting this health of your mind, getting it right. Get your mind right. Coming right back in, and that's what in God. In union with God and relying upon God. The battle is the Lord's, not yours. Don't battle against God. God's correction. If he's tanning your hide, spanking your butt, don't turn around there and try to spank God's butt. Duh! Repent. Or he's taking away something that's, like a parent. Find whatever's important, the phone or the video games or whatever their currency is of their child. And ground them from that. Take that away for a temporary time. Or, if it's needed to cause them to be corrected in the way they're misbehaving. The way we have this disease, this carnality, it's non-spiritualness. God's given us an opportunity to come back, so that whenever you come back, it's like, oh my goodness, you're exceedingly great, Dad. My parents, God is in the spirit, there's either male or female. God is both. God is one. Okay? God's having come back to me. Be reasonable, my child. I love you beyond words. Okay? And each and every area of your thinking, and be reasonable and exist. You got to bring you through that. Not just one time, remember? Again, to get one area of your thinking through. Okay? Now, okay. And this word, I-A-O-M-A-I, I forgot how to say it. It was this way. Let's see.
Strong's G 2390. Yamai.
Wow. That's a verb, apparently, a middle voice of that. So it's concerned. When you're praying or you're concerned with the mental, spiritual well-being of the person. Not just this exterior stuff. Heal their hand, heal their foot, heal their colon, take care of their whatever stuff that they're desiring their fleshly wants, because it's making them feel uncomfortable. Well, you know, God may be doing that stuff is probably doing that so that you can give up that, not rely upon that old fleshly thinking or that comfortable thing. It's making you a little uncomfortable temporarily. So it's correcting your thinking. So you'll turn to Him and quit relying upon your own might, your own power, your own stinking thinking. He's bringing you from out of that poop thinking, your own right-mindedness, your own righteousness, and bringing you towards, into, and en, and syn, Him, His right-mindedness. Metanoia, change the way you think. If you take that away, and no negatives, no pressures, no fire trials, and nothing, you're probably not going to give that stuff up. You're probably going to be like, oh, that's still pretty good right there. I might be able to make use of it. Can I do that and do what you say? No. Gotta make God true and all men, all that anthropos thinking, a liar. Don't hang on to that lying sack of bullcrap. Gotta let it go. Because you can't go through the eye of the needle with nothing in your hands, nothing in your works, nothing in your efforts. From that old me, myself, and I stuff. Okay? Alright. So, the prayers of a righteous man lined up with God. That's that part of their thinking. It's en and syn got it. Resting and relying upon God's right-mindedness, not their own. And then they're in union with God in a certain area. They're concerned with the internal, not these miracles and stuff they're talking about on the outside, exterior, and all the wants and desires of that flesh. If it takes get your mind right, that's getting that splinter out, because they take care of it inside themselves, and the reflection of God is helping others. That's how the prayers of a righteous man is more avails much. I'll get to that here in just a minute. Okay. I'm trying to bring this out so the focus is not on healing someone's hand because it's hurt, so they can get mad and reach over and grab a gun, boom, blow the head off of somebody, kill somebody that done them wrong. Because that'd be like indicating inside their mind in that area was definitely not right, because they was retaliating, vengeful, and all this stuff. They're going to kill them. And they did. As soon as you healed their hand, bam, boom. Wow. I mean, that's kind of a laughable, ridiculous thing, but that's about what it is. Here, give me a lollipop so I'll feel better and I won't have to change the way I think. Because I don't understand when you take away my lollipops. Right? Are you trusting in the Lord with all your heart and leaning not upon your own understanding, and God will direct your path? Do you believe that God causes all things to work together for good to them that love God, to those who are the called according to His purpose? If you do, then why are you doing all this prayer warrior stuff to pray out there and not really fully understand what God's doing? Not asking, well, we'll take care of this outside stuff because that's all we know about. Well, you might request it, but then you got to be like, nevertheless, I don't know, Father. I don't know what you're doing inside this person or inside myself. See, a presumptuous sin, presumptuous missing of the mark, whether it's intentional or unintentional, God's ways of dealing with it are far above our ways. He takes down as far as we can even contemplate, that we can even think, and then blows it up to the size of the whole observable universe, and looks down, and it's like communicating in prayer with that spirit, that seed of that spirit. All the way down in there. There's no way you can know that unless he gives you the ears to hear. Because you're in this like crowded stadium, right? And screaming, yelling at you out here at the size of the hair. God's all the way down here, spanning that hair up with like a super powered magnifying glass, all the way down to that. And he knows it very intimately, because that's him. It's that little bit of him that he's put in there that nobody out here can even see, don't even know. You don't even know it yourself. Unless God gives you the ears to hear that. And he brings you through the eye of the needle and brings that back to realization, bringing you home, back into the right-mindedness of God. See that spirit of God inside of you utters, cries out with words, thought processes that you can't even utter. Not when you're in this carnal stinking thinking, and we were all subjected to this vanity, this stinking thinking, not willingly, but in hope. So bring that hope back into confidence, because every time he does this, it's bringing it like that faith. Give everybody a measure of faith, a portion, a limited portion inside each one of them, and they're made into like balls with that old yucky poopy thinking all over it, right? God's the only way you can even know that seed down in there and increase. Give that seed increase. You can't do it by your might or your power. It's by my spirit, says the Lord. God's got to do it. And that's the only way is to agree. Be in hot pursuit of God. All you got, yes. Ricky rocker, whoa. Right? Because it's God's power. God's spirit. Not your own, I'm a big alpha dog here. Yeah, I'm 10 foot tall and bulletproof. Look at me, I'm like a robot. It's stupid. He's trying to be, don't listen to Alpha Dog and all this stuff. Hee-haw and donkey and that parakeet, it's all messed up. Ooh, poop. Yeah, it's just, that's detestable to God. But see, God's putting it there, it's just like a cattle prod. See, all these storms of life are like a cattle prod, prodding you, bringing you back in, trusting in Him. See, again, it's taking this faith and transforming it, bringing it right back in. E-N-S-Y-N, the truthfulness of God. Taking this hope and bringing it all the way back in, more and more confident in God. Taking this conditional love that we probably hate most of the time, bringing it all the way back in, increases, back in. E-N-S-Y-N, God's love beyond words. To complete that job in a little bit in each and every area of your thinking processes. He's completing you. He's bringing you to whatever order, whatever stage, whatever amount of this growth. That density, that glorious nature, so that you can praise and worship it truthfully, just be an honor and really understand, increasing your light, your enlightenment to God's love beyond words. God is both light and God is love. He's increasing your ability to be E-N-S-Y-N, God Himself. That big stamp of approval, insignia, like the kings just have a ring on their hand, like had like a stamp, like a stamp you stamp on paper. But this is stamped. When they put out a message, they put in a scroll and write it, and then put a wax seal on it, and then the king would, and nobody got into that. If they did, it had to answer to the king. Ooh, that's it. Somebody received that message, would see that, and knew that insignia, that stamp from the king. This is from the king. We better pay attention and break that seal and open it up. This is words directly from the king. the sovereign king, one of in control. You don't mess with the king. He cut off your head in a battle situation. Okay? That God's sovereign. He's omniscient. He knows it all. Okay? And us in our limited thing gonna tell God what to do, or, oh, you're not correcting me right. These storms of life are awful. You can petition saying, I don't understand it, and help me through this. If it be your will, let this cup or let this thing pass from me. I don't want him to do it, but nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done. Help me get through it. Help me understand it. Because the spiritual health, my spiritual health inside, just like the praying for someone else or praying for yourself, that spiritual health is more important than this temporary, unsatisfactory stuff. This little pain, this grief, or whatever. Okay, even if it causes you to die, this world in the flesh, this worldly stuff, this is temporary. If we live 100 years, that's a blip compared to what to eternity with God. The rest ever, ages of ages, aeon of aeon. I think they get the word eon from that. Okay. Now, okay, so middle voice, we're back up to this let's see how to pronounce it.
Strong's G 2390.
Yamai. Okay, that word that, you may be healed, okay? That's a pretty important word to understand. It's to cure, to heal, to make whole. So you're making this whole inside your thinking processes. Don't worry about it's this outside thing, it's a secondary thing. So if it's going to make me feel better, or if it's will take care of the out stuff, okay, that's all right. But primarily deal with this inside. Get that thing right. Get your mind right. Back to the right mindedness of God. Not just to it, but in it, resting in God. And that's why in union with God's right mindedness. Back in that pipeline, that heavy water. It's heavier, denser, more glorious in that pipeline of God. Where like in the nucleus of the atom, God's holding you. You're secure, you're permanently fixed. En and syn God, resting in God's nature. Just like Jesus asleep, taking a nap in the middle of that storm, in that belly of that ship. Right? Put a sock in it. Put a muzzle in it all your winds and ways. This stuff. Primary thing is to take care of the inside. Okay? That's what the right prayers of right-mindedness, the communication, the petitions, all this is basing it from that seed. That's what's communicating and being connected with God. My children hear my voice, and the voice of that other one screaming, yelling in this stadium, barking like a dog. Win. That's me, myself, and I. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, getting down, on it. But you can't even hear that still small voice that's speaking out vitally important information that'll correct your mind. Because God's giving the increase. You got to agree. And it's going from giving you these little strands of rope. Each time it's doubling it, 1 to 2 to 4 to 8. And they're twisted them. Remember? That weight, those that wait upon the Lord, that weight. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 30 and 31. I did a series on that, okay? Go back and look at it if you don't quite got that yet. Alright? So gotta go on. Alright? Now, this word, iomized thing right there, to free from errors and sins, to bring about one's salvation. or wants deliverance from that old carnal thinking. That's what all this pressures, these fiery trials, this hurts, and all this stuff in life. Now, if you pick up a gun and shoot yourself in the foot and say, God did it to me, to correct me, that's kind of stupid. You big dummy. You done it to yourself. You know, you're not too smart, man. Right? Okay, and Strong's word means to cure. Okay, so you get the idea of that one, okay? Now let's back up here. I'm about to run out of time. We've got about a minute left. And I wanted to do more. I wasn't really thinking to do a big series on this, but I think I need to, okay? So far in this, we got in James 5:16, we've got confess your faults one to another and pray one for another, that ye not may be healed. That's that you may be healed is all this one word, It's that word IAOMAI, okay? And that's at 2390, which I've been covering. Okay? So the prayers of a righteous man focus on getting the mind right of the person or themselves. And it's themselves first. Then they can see clearly to get the splinter out of the other person's eye, because they gotta get that log out of their eye first. Okay, this was Spiritual Toolbox number 80, and I'll be continuing in this next time. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.